Hey guys, OGAlbina here, bringing you guys our second episode of how to build a draft league team, kind of like a building guide type video. We did one of these before a couple months ago where I played Amel in AP Evolution, and the video was really well received. You guys have been asking me a bunch to make a new one, and I finally got around to it. No more procrastinating, no more putting it off. We're going to be playing against my good friend Ollie in a league called Crash that I've been playing in for, I believe this is my third season playing in it. Then my buddies Bash and Crypto run, hence the Crash. But really fun league. We have a really fun team this season with like Zygarde, Mew, Mega Tyranitar, and Fernet. Lots of fun pieces. We're going up against, like I said, my friend Ollie. Yeah, I'm going to show you guys my building process. So it'll be really fast, really sped up, so you can see how I build, and it'll be in, like, you know, super fast motion, and then I'll commentate the match afterwards in a post-com fashion. And yeah, pretty much that's it. If you want to skip into the battle, there's obviously timestamps in the description, and yeah, let's jump into it. Alrighty guys, so here we are with the actual battle. You can see the 6 that Ollie looked to bring. He went with the Zapdos, Slurpuff, Zarude, Scizor, Mega Scizor, Politoed, and the Nidoking. Now, biggest threats to me off rip, the Zarude is very scary over the course of throughout the game. Obviously I do have things like Corviknight to soft check it, which is obviously very nice, but if Corviknight's getting U-turned on, there's a Zapdos, I can kind of get put in the vortex pretty easily, and once I let Rocks go up, things are looking really tough for me against that Zarude. It can really just kind of rip through my team. I do have the Infernape as well, but Infernape is a little bit pressured. It also has to check things like the Scizor. It also has to obviously try and pivot into the Zarude, and it does have ground coverage to potentially catch me and do a lot of damage. And then Nidoking, man, nothing on my team really OHKOs it besides maybe Zygarde, and even then I don't think our Zygarde actually OHKOs it, and our Mew. And other than that, it just absolutely rips us. It 2-KOs everything with Rocks up. Now we have our Mew to pivot into it and outspeed it, and we also take 2 hits if Rocks aren't up. But if they are, then I'm looking pretty tough. So let's go ahead and jump into it. See what Ollie looks to lead. We're going to lead off with our Tyranitar. Reason to lead off with Tyranitar is because I feel like it's the most free against a potential Zapdos leader, something like that. I want to get up my Rocks early and try and chip down this team as often as I possibly can, in all honesty. As we're going to see the Politoed come out, we see that it's actually pretty darn fast. It has more speed than our Tyranitar, which is definitely good information to know, and it means that we get our Sandstorm before it, is able to do anything like that. So I'm gonna make the pivot out in my Vaporeon just because I know I can flip turn on it pretty much always, and gain a little bit of offensive momentum while not losing any health. And I don't actually have great Scald Switch-ins on this team other than Vaporeon, so Vaporeon's always gonna be my initial pivot. But Ollie's gonna make the play out hard into Zarude, and this is unfortunate because this is, like I was saying, is U-turn just. U-turn Zarude is going to be fun for us to deal with. So I am kind of forced into my Corviknight, but this gives, what do you call it? This gives all the offensive momentum, and that's going to allow the Nidoking to come in. And like I said, I don't have great Nidoking pivots. My Sandstorm's actually going to be working against me a little bit, kind of offsetting any potential lefties that I have. Or I guess I'm not even lefties on Culver on this set, as we're going to see Ollie like to get up Rocks. Now, let me go back a little bit because it's going a little bit fast. I'm going to pivot out. Rocks is a smart play by Ollie. While, yeah, he could try and force a KO here with the right button to click. Rocks are much more important for him because if he's forcing switches, he's getting me to pivot out into things on the Zarude U-turning, on the Scizor U-turning, things like that. Zapdos coming in U-turning as well, or potential volt switching. It's really important for him to have Rocks to chip down my team, so that's definitely his play for sure. We should try and get up Rocks. I have to go Mew regardless, and if he gets up Rocks, I get a little bit more offensive and momentum. In the sense that I feel like I can pretty freely click Flamethrower, because I should beat Slurpuff, I should beat Zapdos, so even if they want to come in on my Flamethrower, that's fine. Same thing with Politoed. I should honestly be good versus them, minus the potential Toxic set. That's definitely, obviously, very annoying for our Mew, but that's obviously great, and I think Flamethrower is my best play, because I at least punish that Zarude for wanting to come in, and I gain a little bit of, information on him as I click that button. But yeah, we're going to be able to click Flamethrower. We're going to see, it is 37 training. This Zarude is incredibly fat, which is definitely very, very obnoxious, as I'm going to make the pivot out into my Corviknight again, kind of forced to, as the Nidoking is going to come back in, and it's gonna do the thing where it tries to force a KO here, as I'm going to go Mew. I believe he does end up clicking Fire Blast, which does a clean 34 to our Mew, and we're just going to be able to roost that off. Obviously, Sludge Wave is going to hurt. You're going to see it does 50% there, but you can kind of continuously roost, catch him on a switch, wanting to switch. I want to try and get up to as healthy as humanly possible if I can, just so I can check this thing throughout the game, and Mew is such a good potential win con in itself that there's no reason for me to really risk it and go for a Psychic, and, as he pivots out into the Zarude, and then I'm, in a pretty bad spot. As I'm going to get out into Corviknight right here, I believe Ollie's going to go for a taunt. I just go for a U-turn. Now I know this seems a little odd not going for the roost here, but the reason I do so is because, one, I don't want to let the Zapdos win for free. I don't have great pivots into Zapdos in the sense that it just U-turns and it gains a ton of momentum on me, and it lets in the Nidoking again if I want to go into my Tyranitar, and then again I just kind of lose a Pokemon, which is very much so less than ideal. U-turn covers a potential taunt play, it covers a pivot out into Zapdos, and it does a ton to this thing if it wants to bulk up, and it gives me nice slow momentum. Based on the damage that it was doing with Darkest Layer right there, while I can't switch hard into Zarude anymore, I can find an opportunity to roost up again later on in the game and still use Corviknight in that sense. So I figured U-turn would be my best play. Ollie goes for the taunt, trying to stop either my roost or my defog. Definitely makes sense, but I figured it would be in my best interest to try and grab a little bit of offensive momentum and put things back in my favor. if that makes any sense. As I'm going to go into my Infernape, get a little bit of lefties back. I double out into my Vaporeon. And the reason I double out into Vaporeon, because I was actually really expecting the Politoed to come in, and I wanted to potentially get a little bit of slow momentum on it, something like that, get into my Mew, as he actually ends up making the Zapdos play, which is unfortunate because I was going to Nasty Plot and kind of try and click a button afterwards, but not the biggest deal. Ollie makes a great double right here as well, going into the Zarude, expecting my Tyranitar, as realistically it's my best pivot. Zygarde could have come in too, but Zygarde takes a ton from Hurricane, so probably not in my best interest to do so, so T-Tar is definitely my best play right here. As I am going to make the pivot out into Infernape, I am forced to take this U-turn here, which is, again, very annoying. Nidoking's going to come out, and it's going to do the thing where it tries to force a KO, but thankfully we still have Mew. Now, the only unfortunate thing is that Sand is up, Rocks are up, so we're taking a lot from Sludge Wave plus Sand, and then Rocks and not being leftovers. Now, the great thing is that we don't have to worry about a poison because of Sheer Force, but realistically, we should honestly be fine. As right here, I'm going to get a little bit of health back. We see the Slurpuff come in, and I think this is an opportunity to just Calm Mind up. I don't think Belly Drum ever really comes versus me, and Calm Mind allows me to really put on a lot of offensive pressure on his team afterwards. So Ollie's going to click Calm Mind himself, which is definitely interesting. He's going to pivot right out, realizing like, oh no, this thing is scary, and probably beats Calm Mind Slurpuff 1v1. You see, he says, right there and high. So he's gonna make the pivot out, go right into Zarude. I'm completely fine with staying in and getting a flamethrower and killing this thing, because the fact that I am cold where I live any one hit from this thing from this range, and getting rid of this thing is absolutely amazing for the rest of my team. It almost makes Vaporeon like unkillable outside of the Zapdos, which I still do have answers to, and this is also the 1000 Arrows resist gone, which is obviously absolutely amazing for us. Coil Zygarde can go crazy with this thing gone. So I'm going to be able to go through a flamethrower, and we're going to see we're actually faster. So I use a ridiculously bulky Zarude. I don't know exactly why he was slower than my Mew, but in my opinion, this pretty much sealed the game for Ollie, because even if he obviously doesn't kill me with Darkest Lariat, he could have U-turned, he could have Lariated, or he could have Power Whipped, and realistically, all three of those things should put me in Mega Scizor or Bullet Punch range, because you're going to see later on, he is actually a very offensive Mega Scizor. As right here, I am going to make he's going to make the Slurpuff play. I'm just going to click Psychic. No reason for me to allow this thing to potentially Belly Drum if it is Belly. I mean, we already saw his Calm Mind, but Psychic is just my best play because there's an absolute ton, and it doesn't allow him to, you know, accumulate Calm Mind boosts and crit through me and stuff like that. As he's going to get a Citrus, going to Calm Mind himself, but he's going to reveal Draining Crits, as that does literally 8% to us because it's not Calm Mind up more, and I'm going to be able to throw off 2 Psychics, not even try and recover in this thing's face, in all honesty, and then pick it off here and be in a good spot. Next up is going to be the Politoed. You're going to see some interesting stuff right here. I'm going to go for Roost because, you know, Politoed is Politoed, and we should be able to Roost on it pretty darn easily, as he is actually going to go for a Curse. And my Crash season has had some interesting stuff happen. I have a very physical team. A lot of my team is physically offensive. I think my only like guaranteed like special attacker is like Vileplume. Then I have stuff like Mew and Infernape that can go mixed or special and things like that. And I also have a Swallow. So a lot of people have been bringing like Cursed Cheese versus me, even on mods that you wouldn't expect to get cursed, because a lot of my team can't break through a lot of things once they start boosting their defense stats and things like that. And so I pulled up with a Cursed Politoed, and in my head I'm like, holy shit, if I wasn't Calm Mind Mew, this set actually kind of beat me. I didn't really have anything to do against this thing, you know, depending on its coverage moves. As I'm going to be able to Psychic, we're going to see the Moringa Berry pop, allowing it to get a Spadef boost as well. And now I'm just going to start clicking Psychic until the cows come home, as I should still be able to 2-hit KO from that range, as it's going to reveal Ice Punch. I talked to him after. It was Ice Punch, Rest, Sleep, Talk, Curse with the Moringa Berry, which realistically probably could have beaten my Vaporeon as it got up to +6, and, you know, because I wasn't Roar, and been a genuine nuisance. But thankfully, we don't have to deal with that. We're going to be able to take out the Politoed. Now, the only unfortunate thing, and I almost wanted to Roost, right? I almost wanted to Roost because that would have given me the turn. I would have killed him on this turn, which would have meant that Rain would have been gone, and then I could just Flamethrower the Scizor and then win the game. But I didn't want to risk a freeze because that would have been really bad if I got frozen. So I ended up just killing it. The Scizor's going to come in. I calced it. Max Attack Adamant U-turn does not kill me, so I decided Roost was my safest play. I could Roost up and then try and kill this thing with Flamethrower in the next turn. As you're going to see, I do Roost up.
Ollie does end up going for a Swords Dance. That's fine as well. He is going to be like max attack adamant. Going to do 64% there with the bullet punch, as we are going to be able to pick it off with a flamethrower. We also covered knockoff as well because we are obviously Colbert, and we're going to be able to knock out the Scizor. And then we're going to see Curse Zapdos. Again, always a psychopath. He saw lots of physical Pokemon, and he said Curse Zapdos time, which again did really well versus me. Outside of Zygarde, I think Zygarde always beats this 1v1, unless he's like toxic or something weird, or some weird coverage move that I don't think Zapdos gets. But I think Zygarde always beats this 1v1 pretty easily because we're Coil ourselves. So realistically, we shouldn't have lost to this thing, unless we were super bad with the Zygarde and let it take a million chip in the process throughout the game. But we're gonna be able to Psychic, and at +2, we definitely 2-hit KO this thing. We're gonna see Wild Charge pop off. It actually does a pretty hefty amount, but we're gonna Psychic again. And yeah, we're gonna be able to Psychic this Nidoking and pick up a nice 6-0 dub on the back of Mew being an absolute monster. Really cool to see Mew go crazy too. And this, I think this is the first Mew sweep I've had this season. We're able to pick up 6 with it, actually, which is pretty insane. The game was looking pretty scary before Mew got in position. I think Ollie being slower on his Zarude definitely just kind of handed me the game and made it a lot easier on me to potentially win. But we for sure take those. I believe right now we are 5-2 on this season. If Crash ends up being a crazy season, you know, I end up like making finals or winning it, or even, you know, something like that, maybe I'll do a movie on the season. I really do enjoy this team. I didn't really get to showcase the whole build with things like, you know, like Zygarde and Infernape and, you know, Mega Tyranitar, which I've absolutely loved using. So if you guys want to see a Crash movie at the end of the season, definitely let me know in the comments below. I would for sure be down to, you know, record that. I could commentate over this game again and then show you guys my, you know, my other games as well, and show off those builds. I've gotten smashed a couple times in this league, but I've also had some really good games as well, and I really do enjoy playing in Crash. So shout out to Bash and Crypto and, you know, Sketch and all of them for running a pretty tight ship there. And yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more of these, you know, how to build a draft league team videos, definitely let me know. I know it's been a while since the first one, but I know you guys enjoyed that, so I think why not do another one. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.